Pharmaceuticals Corporation of Sri Lanka. Your health is our concern.
The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by Tilani Pires. No PCR at airport for fully vaccinated passengers from Friday. Minister Consumer Affairs says the government is closely observing the rice mill owners' tendency. The transportation of fuel by train is to be increased shortly. The National Environmental Act will be amended to suit the contemporary situation. The Health Ministry requests the parents not to direct their healthy children above 12 years of age for vaccinations. The Sri Lankan young star Yohani De Silva enters as a vocalist for a Bollywood movie. And on international news, the UK fuel crisis prices rise to 8-year high as army on standby. The Ministry of Health announces fully vaccinated passengers arriving in Sri Lanka with a negative PCR report will not be required to carry out another PCR test at the airport from Friday the 1st of October. It said if the PCR test report obtained by fully vaccinated passengers before departing their country of origin is negative, they will be allowed to enter the community without being tested at the airport. The decision was taken following a discussion held this evening, which was chaired by Health Minister Kehelia Rambukwella. The Minister of Health said that the decision was taken on a request made by Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga. Top officials from the Health Ministry and Tourism Ministry had also attended the discussion. Foreigners who have not been fully vaccinated will be able to travel to their hotels from the airport in a biobubble, and a PCR test will be carried out at the hotel. Sri Lankans arriving in the country who are not fully vaccinated can undergo a PCR test at the airport or quarantine hotel. If the result is negative, they are allowed to go home, the Health Ministry said. The Consumer Minister Lasantha Alagiawanna says the government plans to import 100,000 tons of rice. He said the rice would be distributed to Lanka Satosa and cooperatives. Rice imports were controlled in order to keep prices up and help farmers, but now the consumers are helpless, he said. The minister stressed that the rice mill owners are now hiking the price of rice illegitimately, but the government is closely observing the tendency. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's tea farmers and planters are saying crops will fall sharply due to the lack of specific chemical fertilizers, which are compulsory to add at specific times of the growth. They have also been protesting the lack of chemical fertilizer, and organic fertilizer imported from China had led to another controversy after the discovery of bacterial pests in a sample. The government has planned to increase the transportation of fuel by train. Currently, only 30% of fuel transportation is carried out by train, and it will be increased to 60% shortly. It is reported fuel transportation is handled mainly by bouncers currently. Fuel transportation by train will help reduce road traffic, environmental pollution and accidents, and also cost of operation. The decision was taken following a discussion with the Transport Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi and Energy Minister Udaya Gammanpilla at the Energy Ministry today. The ministers have also planned to promote infrastructure, including repairing existing damaged fuel tank wagons and purchasing new tank wagons for fuel transportation. The discussions has also revealed that one locomotive can carry 14 tank wagons with 50,000 litres of fuel. 7 million litres of fuel can be transported in a single trip. That will help reduce 20 bouncers using the road. Analysts say the initiative will provide win-win situation for both the Petroleum Corporation and the Railway Department, as costs of transportation will be reduced, while the Railway Department's revenue can be increased. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Steps have been taken to further strengthen the National Environmental Act. Environment Minister Mahinda Amaravira says 42 new amendments will be added to the Act to suit contemporary times in order to protect the environment of our country in a more formal manner. The new amendments also propose to increase the penalties for those who destroy the environment. The minister said that the new amendments are aimed at addressing the legal and institutional issues that have arisen today and are expected to arise in the future too. The Health Ministry requests the parents not to direct their healthy children above 12 years of age for vaccination. Deputy Director General of Health Services, Dr. Hemantha Herat says, though the vaccination drive for children aged 12 to 19 years is being conducted, it is only for children with comorbidities and disabilities. He added that the ministry has to be extra cautious when deciding to give vaccines for healthier children under the recommendations on experts in the field. Therefore, Dr. Herat requested the parents of healthy children not to rush to vaccination centres to get their children vaccinated as of now. He added the ministry is monitoring the situation and the experts will come out with relevant recommendations on vaccinating the healthy children in due course. The court case in connection with the Easter Sunday attacks has been called for the first time on the 4th of next month. A special security operation will be in place near Halsdorf Court Complex on that day. 25 suspects are scheduled to be produced on that day in court. The case will be heard before a 3-judge bench of Justices Damit Totavatta, Amal Ranaraja and Navaratna Marasinghe. Sri Lankan young star Yohani De Silva, who became popular across the world with her song Manike Mage Hite, has entered as a vocalist for a Bollywood movie for the first time. She sang today the official theme song of Siddharth, Hindi film directed by Kunal Deshmukh. The male singer of the song was Manan Bhardwaj. The Hindi song was launched this afternoon over Yohani's YouTube channel. That ends local news for now.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Ministry of Health announces fully vaccinated passengers arriving in Sri Lanka with a negative PCR report will not be required to carry out another PCR test at the airport from Friday the 1st of October. It is said if the PCR test report obtained by fully vaccinated passengers before departing their country of origin is negative, they will be allowed to enter the community without being tested at the airport. The decision was taken following a discussion held this evening, which was chaired by Health Minister Kehlia Rambukwala. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watch Light.
The new season of the avocado harvest has started and it is seen a large number of roadside sellers are selling the fruit. Customers complain even though prices are high, the quality of most of the fruits are poor. It said many of the sellers are selling immature fruits, and it added some of the unscrupulous growers harvesting and selling immature fruits which will not ripen properly. Meanwhile, growers from the upcountry say buyers are asking just 2 to 3 rupees per fruit, while it was sold at 220 rupees per kilo in Colombo and the suburbs. It is estimated only 4 to 5 fruits weigh per 1 kilo of avocado. That came to you in Watchlight.
World News.
World News headlines first. UK fuel crisis, prices rise to 8-year high as army on standby. Canada is eyeing a loosening of restrictions for those applying for refugee status. New study finds breastfeeding women who have been infected with COVID-19 provide virus neutralizing breast milk for their babies. Britain's army has been put on standby to deliver fuel as panic buying worsened a supply crisis, sending prices to an 8-year high. The government said a limited number of military tanker drivers were ready to be deployed if needed, while the fuel industry expects demand will return to its normal levels in the coming days. It's right that we take this sensible precautionary step, Business Secretary Kwasi Kwarteng said in a statement without specifying how many drivers had been readied. The Petrol Retailers Association, PRA, had earlier warned that up to 90% of petrol pumps were running dry in some areas of the United Kingdom due to supply chain issues. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's new re-elected Liberal government is eyeing a loosening of restrictions for those applying for refugee status. It said no longer the applicants need to prove that they face torture or death if forced to return to their home countries. Under the new guidelines, civil service officers who do an initial screening of immigration and refugee claims are instructed to accept any applicant who has an intersectional claim. They are also instructed to give applicants the benefit of the doubt. Unless the officer or judge involved has incontrovertible proof an applicant is lying, the claimant should be admitted. New study data suggests breastfeeding women who have been infected with COVID-19 continue to secrete virus-neutralizing antibodies into their milk for up to 10 months. Besides emphasizing the important role breastfeeding could play in helping to protect infants from the disease, researchers believe that such antibodies could be used to treat people with severe COVID-19, preventing their condition from getting worse. Study also reveals although young children are less at risk of developing severe COVID-19 than older people, approximately 1 in 10 infants under the age of 1 will require significant hospital care if they become infected. Back to the world news headlines. UK fuel crisis, prices rise to 8-year high as army on standby. Canada is eyeing a loosening of restrictions for those applying for refugee status. New study finds breastfeeding women who have been infected with COVID-19 provide virus-neutralizing breast milk for their babies. That ends World News. And continuing with development news, Sri Lanka's merchandise exports in August has recorded an increase of 14.4% to $1,083.56 million as compared to $9,947.2 million recorded in August 2020, as per the data released by Sri Lanka Customs. The services exports estimated by EDB, which includes ICT construction, financial services and transport and logistics, recorded a worth of $2,184.5 million during the period of January to August 2021. Compared to $1,640.8 million recorded in the corresponding period of 2020. That was development news.
Sports news.
Dr. Damin Dattanayake is to represent Sri Lanka cricket at the upcoming ICC and BCCI organised biosafety meeting on Thursday. According to sources in the BCCI, ICC and the Indian Cricket Board have invited the representatives of all World Cup participating nations to attend an online briefing on Thursday where the strategic biosafety plan will be discussed. Sri Lanka Cricket said Dr. Daminda is a sport and exercise physician and is a chief compliance officer with the SLC. She is also head of the rehabilitation unit and the sports ministry and member of the SLC medical unit. The strategic objective of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup biosafety plan is to develop straightforward, easily understood protocols that are objectively rational and strictly enforced to safeguard the well-being of all the participants. That ends Sports News.
A safe, easy and versatile app for all your banking needs. NSB Pay for monetary transactions, bill payments, reloads, credit card payments and Lanka QR transactions. A range of facilities with multiple account registrations. Access to your bank needs wherever you are. Download the NSB Pay app from the Play Store or the App Store for free now. For more information, call your nearest NSB branch or 0112 379 379. Conditions apply.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The National Chamber of Exporters of Sri Lanka conducted 2 webinars aiming to assist exporters to reach new market and identify emerging demand for various products and services under the new normal. It was conducted in coordination with the Sri Lankan Embassy in USA and a Chamber of Commerce based in Mumbai. The National Chamber of Exporters highlighted the need to support the Sri Lankan SME exporters in reaching out to global consumers. In this regard, the US Embassy has taken a strategic move to develop a warehouse concept supported by the Sri Lanka Export Development Board, the first such warehouse being dedicated to the apparel sector. That came to you in Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
A safe, easy and versatile app for all your banking needs. NSB Pay for monetary transactions, bill payments, reloads, credit card payments and Lanka QR transactions. A range of facilities with multiple account registrations. Access to your bank needs wherever you are.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
The Secretary-General of the Joint Apparel Association Forum, Tuli Kure, says there will be no negative impact by the EU delegation's visit this month on Sri Lanka's GSP Plus status. He said it was only a regular visit on how Sri Lanka has responded to the trade facility and the conditions to benefit from the concessions. However, he added that the extension of the trade facility at the next cycle commencing from 2023 would depend on how Sri Lanka responds to the EU conventions. That's economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Weather report.
The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Uva and eastern provinces in the evening or night. Wind speed can be increased up to 50 kilometers per hour at times over the island, particularly in the western slopes of the Central Hills, northern, north central, northwestern, southern and western provinces. That was the weather report. And now to conclude this news broadcast, the main points once again. No PCR at airport for fully vaccinated passengers from Friday. Minister Consumer Affairs says the government is closely observing the rice mill owners' tendency. The transportation of fuel by train is to be increased shortly. The National Environment Act will be amended to suit contemporary situation. The Health Ministry requests the parents not to direct their healthy children above 12 years of age for vaccination. The Sri Lankan young star Yohani De Silva enters as a vocalist for a Bollywood movie. And on international news, UK fuel crisis, prices rise to 8-year high as army on standby. That ends this news broadcast, and now it's back to my very good friend as well as yours, Mario Vijayavardhana, on a Tuesday night. Back to you, Mario.
Thank you so much, Trilani. Thank you for the news, and here's wishing you a safe journey home and a great Wednesday ahead. That was Tilani Peiris with your night news on Radio Sri Lanka.
Radio Sri Lanka, 97.4 FM and 97.6 FM.